Numbers from Princeton University show South Carolina has the highest rate of evictions in the whole country. Even in the middle of a pandemic, people are still being forced out of their homes. 7 News' Olivia Parsons tells us why tenants are being put on the streets and what landlords need to know.
Despite an eviction moratorium at least through January 31st, they're still happening right here in Greenville. That's because not all evictions are due to late rent, but there is help for both sides of the aisle. If you're a landlord, you should know your rights. Martin Watson is the coordinator for the Greenville County Human Relations. He helps work with both landlords and tenants and says most conflicts come down to breach of lease.
Anytime a violation happens that is other than non-payment right now, that landlord can file for an eviction.
This includes destruction of property or having guests stay in the unit for an extended period of time when the lease clearly prohibits that.
But the only thing they need to make sure of is they do it correctly, which means they have to give them a written notice.
It's not an eviction, but a notice that you're not going to continue the lease. Make sure you print it out and put it in a place your tenant will see it. If after 30 days the tenant is still on the property, that's when you'll go to the judge to file an eviction.
Evictions has to be done through a legal substance, which means it has to be a magistrate or a judge, okay? But a landlord can only issue a lease termination.
If you're on the receiving end of the eviction, there should be a reason in the notice as to why. You then have 10 days to set up a hearing with the magistrate.
And that's to tell your side of the story. If you miss those 10 days, you're going to automatically get what they call a writ of ejection, which means now you have to leave.
But even then, there's help.
Once you're in shelter, they're going to connect you to jobs and any other, barriers you may have now that you've had that eviction.
Susan McClarty, coordinator of the Greenville Homeless Alliance, says shelters have been full well before the pandemic.
One thing that people may not realize is many folks in shelter are working in jobs that have been deemed essential during the pandemic, but they're not earning enough to exit and move into housing.
So until then, services like the Greenville Homeless Alliance and the Greenville County Human Relations can work with you to put a roof over your head and keep you warm during these trying times.
Come talk to us and we'll be back, try to help you, in whatever we can do.
Money is expected to come into the state for housing assistance that you can apply to. We have a link for you to do so up on our website at WSPA.com. In Greenville, Olivia Parsons, 7 News.
That assistance should become available starting February 15th. Households could get up to $7,500 through that program. 7 News State House Watch, the fetal heartbeat